Hey everybody, Side Gig Guy here. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different in this video. So if you've come here for the monthly financial readout, it's still going to be that, but I'm going to do things differently because, to be quite honest, these videos get the least amount of views. And I want to try and change that. I want to try and get it more engaged so that I can get more views of these reports. So today I'm going to not just run through the numbers. I'm also going to talk about how I've made $14,000 so far in 2023. But I'm going to take a $10,000 IRS tax deduction just because of the mileage deduction. And I'm doing this because I got a comment recently where somebody asked, what goes on with my taxes? How do I do my taxes? So using the IRS deductions that are available to you are very important. And the most important one is the mileage deduction. It's 65.5 cents for every mile that you drive while you're engaged in door dashing or Uber or Lyft or any of those side gigs. So like I was saying, I've made $14,000 in gross revenue, but I'm not going to pay taxes on that whole $14,000. I'll get to take at least a $10,000 deduction, and it'll be more by the end of the year, just because I'm recording all the miles that I'm taking. Now, remember, when you record your miles, you can't deduct things like gas or new tires or any kind of a car repair or parking or anything like that at all. You have to just take the flat mileage deduction. So make sure you track that. I use an app called Gridwise, and I use the free version of it, and I start it whenever I start my DoorDash or my Shipt or whatever I'm doing for the day. It's also important that you keep track of your odometer as well, though, because the IRS will probably want to see some commuter miles. I think it's a good idea to have some personal and some commuter miles in addition to all of the other miles that you're going to have that you're going to write off. Okay, so now, without any further ado, let's go ahead and go through the numbers for July. So in July, for the first time in 3 months, we made over our $2,000 goal, $2,187.68. And we did it driving only 1,986 miles. So first of all, that's like $1.10 per mile, which is great. And then a little further down, you'll see I worked 114 hours in the month. Now, on the right-hand side, well, actually, let's go a little bit further down. So underneath that, you'll see I purchased $150 worth of gas, which is only 6.5% of the total amount of money I brought in. My goal there is to always keep that at less than 10%. And I have a monthly budget to not spend more than $200 because 10% of 2,000 is 200, so it makes sense. You'll also see I worked 114 hours and I worked 24 days. So on the bottom right, you can see that I only work about 4.5 to 4 3/4 hours, between 4 and 5 hours a day. Okay, next let's talk about YouTube. So YouTube plateaued last month at over $100, and it's also over 100 for the month of July, but it's a little bit lower than it was in June. You know, I want to thank all you guys just for watching. Every time you watch, it's a penny or two in my pocket, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. If this kind of stuff is interesting to you, click subscribe. I do shorts, I do long form video. I talk about early retirement. I talk about side gigs. I'm going to do a whole series on Shipt in the form of shorts, and then one long form video about all the little tricks, because there's some tricks to making Shipt more profitable, and I want to delve into those. So that's coming as well. So the total revenue, if you combine the side gigs with the YouTube revenue, is $2,292.21. I definitely made more money doing Shipt than I did DoorDash. That's my new secret recipe. I don't even worry about Uber Eats or Amazon or any of that other stuff. I just do a combination of DoorDash, earned by time, and Shipt. And I'll probably make a video on that recipe and how to multitask those two things together. Okay, we're moving to the right side of the tracker now. These are all the things that compute automatically based on the inputs that I put in. So I put in all that data on the left side, and then this spreadsheet spits it out on the right. And it's available for download. If you want to use this, just download it out of Google Cloud. If you need the link, just go to my About tab on my channel, and it's right there in the About Me section. There's a link to it. Don't try and request access to edit it or anything like that. Just download it to your machine. You can do whatever you want with it, but the copy in the cloud is not for admin or editing purposes. It's just for you to download. So the grand total of what we made is at the top line. The second line is the mileage deduction. Now I want you to look at that. So I made $2,294, almost $2,300, but I'm going to deduct $1,300 of that right off the top just for mileage. So, that leaves you around $1,000. What do we got here? $993. That's important because I take other deductions as well too. Anytime I buy a piece of equipment not related to the car that I'm going to use for side gigs, a cell phone holder, a charger cable, anything like that, that stuff is all deductible. My monthly cell phone bill, I have a special cell phone just for this. I don't use my personal cell phone, I use a business cell phone for this. So my entire cell phone bill and the cost of the cell phone is deductible. What I'm trying to impress upon you here is the tax advantages to this in my state, in my early retired state. At the end of the year, on paper, I might gross $24,000, $25,000, but the IRS is only going to tax me on a few thousand of that. All right, let's get back to the report. So the next line is the self-employment line. I have to pay that no matter what. That's 15.3% of everything that I bring in after the deductions. So I can't take the deductions first, and then I have to pay 15.3% tax on that amount. It's just like Social Security or Medicare, and you pay it right now if you have a W-2 job, but you only pay half, and your employer pays the other half. So that's $152 right off the top. I believe, since this is a full-time job for me, that I need to plan for car maintenance and for a new car replacement. So the next two lines on the spreadsheet talk about that. I save 30 cents a mile for every mile that I drive my car for side gig work for a new car replacement. So that's $595 I have to set aside. And then car maintenance, AAA and the internet recommend setting aside about 9 cents per mile for repairs, oil changes, and things like that. So that comes up to $178. You have to pay for gas, you have to pay your taxes, and you have to set money aside for repairs or replacements, or this won't be a feasible long-term deal. So that brings us to a grand total of profit after gas and tax of $1,992. If I compute that to an hourly number, it works out to about $17.48 for the hours that I work. Once again, I don't really care about how much I'm making per hour. I care about how much I'm making per month and how much I'm making per year. All right, and there's another line that's in there that's kind of new underneath the pay per miles. It's the profit after gas, tax, and savings. So the actual money that I made that I could put into my pocket after I've saved and I paid my taxes is $1,218.23. Works out to a taxable income of $841.83. So that's every line on the spreadsheet. Now, I usually don't go through every single line, but I wanted to this time because, like I said, there was some interest expressed in the comments, and so there you have it. I'll pay tax on that. Each month it'll add up. If you look at previous months, this number is right around $1,000 every month. Sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's higher. I think one month so far this year, it actually was a loss. So with that pretty much wraps up the month of July 2023. And like I said, this is the first month that I've been in Foley where I've actually been able to crack that $2,000 amount. And if you're interested in the recipe that I finally used or how I finally figured out how to get to that point, just check this video out right here. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody, but if you're struggling and you've moved recently and you're struggling to make a certain amount and you can't figure out what to do, maybe it'll give you some ideas on something new to try. Side Gig Guy out.